the reason this is so fascinating, right, is because the first thing that I thought was not, oh, what kind of return will they get or what's going to happen here? It was, those guys are buddies, right?
Yep, Rosas and Morey.
They're buddies. There was this report about Ben Simmons and there was like this connection to the Wolves, interestingly enough. And so let me explain. There's a good rundown by Sam Quinn on CBS that says, despite all reports suggesting that Ben Simmons wants to leave Philly, the team has refused to budge when it comes to a price. Adrian Wojnarowski recently reported the Sixers want a James Harden-esque package of draft picks and players in return for Simmons. Thus far, no team has proven willing to meet that price, blah, 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 blah. One party still interested, the Minnesota Timberwolves. According to John Krasinski, and let me just say this, in a day and age where it's like warfare for news with Woj and Shams and Mark Stein still gets some news here, there, and Windhorse and Lowe and Ramona and whatever. The local beat writer owning their own beat is something that has just been almost become virtually impossible. This guy, John Krasinski in Minnesota, is unbelievable.
Yeah, he's always on top of it. Does awesome work.
He has had the T-Wolves on lock. Like, he's the one guy that I always see breaking the news about his team. It's unbelievable. And so he says the Timberwolves have continued their discussions with Philly on a possible Simmons deal, but they might need a third team to create the sort of win-now package that Philly is looking for. And anybody could go read the rest of this. They can read John on The Athletic. There's a little rundown of it on CBS. But the reason this is so fascinating, right, is because the first thing that I thought was not, oh, what kind of return will they get or what's going to happen here? It was, those guys are buddies, right?
Yep, Rosas and Morey.
They're buddies. So the idea that Daryl Morey and Gerson Rosas, who worked together for so many years, might be able to, rope in somebody else if they need to make this deal go, and that they have had these conversations is fascinating to me because, there's always been the whole, what about this for Ben Simmons? What about this for Ben Simmons? And it's usually we're just talking about a two-way deal. But a three-way deal now gets super interesting. And seeing where Simmons would possibly land. And a couple of the names that they brought up, obviously they brought up Pat Bev, who they recently traded for. They bring up Malik Beasley. They bring up D'Angelo Russell. And then they've got draft picks. And then maybe if you rope in a third team, that maybe that's how Philly ends up with whatever their desired haul for Simmons is. But do you think it's still going to take a superstar in return?
I mean, like what Philly wants is to give Simmons and more to get Damian Lillard. That right. Can't be emphasized enough. That's what they want to do. I mean, maybe it's not Dame, maybe it's Bradley Beal, but they want to give Simmons plus more to get that guy. They don't want to take the package where it's 5 picks and 2 players for Simmons. They want to add 4 picks with Simmons to get a guy. So, in that report, he said the lack of win now assets the Wolves could provide the Sixers has been a hindrance. And that's why a third team would need to be provided. So they'd send like some draft picks to a third team. And then the third team would send, some proven players to Philadelphia in that type of scenario. I read the report and read it and viewed it more as like, yes, Minnesota continues to pursue Simmons, but there's nothing here right now.
Right.
That was my impression from that report. And it connects to everything we've talked about in recent weeks, that right now, Philly is just wait and see mode. They might take this into training camp. Things might get ugly. You're going to hear all the, the PR statements from Simmons talking to the media. Oh, I want to be here, this and that. unless he takes the approach saying, I don't want to be here. I want to be traded, and things get really gross really quick. And that could accelerate things. Clutch and Simmons could take that path if this goes into training camp. But I'll tell you what, Chris, today recording, it's August 24th. In about 1 month, people are going to be coming to training camp. Late September is going to be here really, really soon. So all this stuff that we've heard about over the offseason, the teams that had interest in Dame, the teams that have interest in Simmons, keep this all in mind over the next 6 weeks or so, because even though things are quiet today, training camp is right around the corner. It's coming fast. Yep. It's coming fast. So this stuff could accelerate at some point in about a month once training camp does begin. But maybe not. Maybe Daryl Morey will be okay with things getting ugly because he's waiting for that superstar in Damian Lillard.
I don't know. Do you think they will? Because, I mean, they should have last year, and they ended up with the number 1 seed, Kev. You know?
What do you mean?
I mean, that was the thing all last year. It was all Simmons for Harden, Simmons for Harden, Simmons for Harden. That's all that was everywhere.
And Simmons was cool with it. But I think things were different then, though. I really do. I think things were different because he didn't, pass up the dunk and kind of get thrown under the bus by his co-star and Joel Embiid and his coach. And there wasn't this whole perception from Philly fans wanting him gone. Yeah. Like they want him out. A lot of Sixers fans want him gone today. They don't want to wait. They want him gone now. And then the other side of it is that Simmons and Clutch also want to change too. So I think the circumstances have changed since he was involved in Harden discussions versus where things are today. They're dramatically different.